Resentment. The train finally escaped from the control of the ghost at the station. The people inside the car and the ghost finally managed to escape danger. But at this moment, Safety-P10 raised a pistol and fired 3 shots at Evan Zhao. The bullets whizzed by in the blink of an eye. At the critical moment, Ghost in the warehouse stepped forward to block in front of him. The small female ghost who reacted angrily rushed towards the old lady, daring to hurt her brother. Her mouth split open to a terrifying degree, and she bit directly towards the other person's head. However, the next moment Safety-P10's body turned into a white light and disappeared in front of their eyes. The female ghost took a bite of the air, with a hint of confusion in her eyes. Evan Zhao arrived at Safety-P10's location, picked up the shell casing on the ground, and carefully examined it for a moment. He found out, as he expected, someone indeed instructed her. The little female ghost lifted her small head with concern, holding the tattered school bag Evan Zhao had given her earlier. "Big brother, are you okay?" Evan Zhao looked at her and smiled, gently replying, "I'm fine. Thank you for the reminder. I have to go now." Shiener's eyes flashed with a hint of disappointment. "Will Big Brother come to see Shiener again?" Evan Zhao patted her ghost on the head and replied, "Of course, I will go to Suspended Valley Town." Shiener happily extended her finger and made an agreement with him. Hooking up and hanging for 100 years, no change allowed. Wenlong handed the vanquisher back to Evan Zhao with a complex expression on his face. He now knows what it feels like to trust and fear someone at the same time. "Thank you for saving my life. Goodbye. I will definitely not participate in the main quest in the future. This is simply not something a human can survive." After he said these words with lingering fear, his body disappeared inside the train station. Ding! Player Wenlong has exited this world. Shortly after, Water Lucy and Sugar Tian also waved goodbye. Evan Zhao retracted his weapon into his storage space. Then he smiled faintly at the warehouse ghost inside the carriage. "I told you I am the last one," he said. The player heading to the station nodded towards the warehouse ghost, expressing gratitude and respect. "Thank you for giving me back my freedom. If you encounter any difficulties in Suspended Valley Town in the future, you can come directly to our lodging place. We will help you." Evan Zhao's figure slowly disappeared. "Please take care of Shiener, she is still young." Warehouse Ghost immediately agreed. Ding! Player Evan Zhao exits the world in the dim twilight. A dilapidated train slowly travels along the weedy tracks, heading towards the boundless darkness. Congratulations to players Evan Zhao, Wenlong Water Lucy, Sugar Tian, Mia Li, Wang Su, Safety-P10 for completing the Grand World Quest, liberating the resentment of the train meet. All players receive 2 talent points. After the dungeon is completed, a new map, Suspended Valley Town, in the Grand World will be unlocked, where numerous character sub-quests are available for earning points. The special ghost on the train increased the favorability towards the player Evan Zhao to reverence. In the future, player Evan Zhao can enjoy their special services and assistance in the Suspended Valley Town. The favorability of Ghost is divided into vendetta, grudge, disgust, neutral, affection, respect, reverence, admiration, and loyalty. The people in the guild were in an uproar when they heard the prompt. Damn! What kind of monster is this Evan Zhao? How can he do all kinds of quests? Topping the list is indeed impressive. It's a pity that he will soon disappear from the new player list. If he levels up by more than 5 levels next month, he will no longer be a new player. Next month there will be a wave of evil spirits, and he will definitely go. I heard it's extremely dangerous there. In addition to terrifying ghosts, there are also horrifying curses, and even some mentally unstable players who will slaughter each other. Isn't that human demon Ball known for crazily slaughtering teammates in the dungeon? Last time during the wave of evil spirits, he made a fortune by killing teammates. At this moment, a big man stopped Safety-P10 who had just returned to the camp. "Come with me, our boss wants to see you." Resentment, the train's quest finally comes to an end. Everyone safely returned to the camp. A few big men brought Sophia Chin in front of Shan Lai, who is Jiaduk Bang's henchman. Sophia Chin pulled out a handgun. She put it on the table very respectfully. Shan Lai stared at him coldly, and questioned why Evan Zhao didn't die. Sophia Chin replied with an embarrassed expression. "That guy is very difficult to deal with." Upon hearing this, Shan Lai slammed the table in anger and stood up abruptly. "Why don't you just shoot him right at the beginning? You old thing, who would expect you to have a gun on you?" Sophia Chin recalled with lingering fear everything that had happened not long ago. She was actually very grateful that she didn't shoot Evan Zhao right at the beginning when they entered the dungeon. Otherwise, they would all have died. With Ghost helping to block the bullets, Sophia Chin casually explained, "Anyway, the people outside wouldn't know the exact situation inside." The atmosphere in the room was extremely heavy. Shan Lai lit a cigarette, his sharp gaze piercing through the dense smoke, landing on the wrinkled old face of the other person. "You better hold on to the gun for now. This thing is not worth much. There will be a wave of evil spirits next month around the middle of the month. With Evan Zhao's character, that rascal won't be able to resist joining. Kill him. Our previous agreement still stands." Sophia Chin did not refuse. She took the pistol back into her own pocket. Meanwhile, Evan Zhao walked out of apartment 707. Rachel Liu, wearing a wine-red nightgown, saw him off from the room, waved goodbye with a dazed look, and said, "Come back next time, little darling." Evan Zhao coughed awkwardly. Those who knew understood that he came to treat an illness, while those who didn't might think he was here for a different kind of health treatment. He shook his head and left the 7th floor with a notebook in hand. Opening the notebook, there were records of 2 patients. Patient Rachel Liu's spirit points are stable but uncontrollable. The cause is identified as the red demon persona. Specifically, when exposed to strong external stimuli, the dormant red demon persona inside the body will awaken. It will hunt down specific groups of people and consume them in various exquisite culinary ways, paired with green vegetables. If there are no green vegetables, the red demon will refuse to eat and fall into a state of frenzy, madness, and slaughter. However, after obtaining enough food, the red demon persona will be satisfied and continue to sleep soundly. Until the next awakening, the treatment plan is chemotherapy, temporary, with unknown food ingredients awaiting further confirmation. Patient Sugar Tian spirit points, stably uncontrollable. Cause, personality alienation. Specific manifestations. She always believes she has a friend named Nini, which is visually presented as a tattered teddy bear in her hand. But in reality, this bear does not exist. Only patients with the same condition can observe it frontally. When the alienated personality perceives danger, she will forcibly unlock the genetic lock in her body and immediately eliminate the source of danger. If the alienated personality persists for too long, it will lead to the collapse of the genetic lock, resulting in death or irreversible morphological changes. This individual's personality has undergone severe alienation and is suspected to have come into contact with certain unspeakable entities in the darkness. Treatment plan. No treatment needed at the moment. Requires observation. Category: good. Ingredients: unripe. Evan Zhao closed the notebook and threw it into the inventory before returning to the room and opening his own system panel. Character Evan Zhao is at level 3 with a strength of 35. He has accumulated 12,000 points and received ratings of S+, SS, and S. Now that you have 3 ratings of S or above, you should be able to unlock the high-tier store. Inside, you can exchange a variety of ghost limbs, occult treasures, weapons, and martial arts, etc. The points required vary based on the different effects. Evan Zhao's gaze has been searching through the huge market, looking for some strange things. In the end, he found a strange martial art technique in the column of martial arts. Martial art. The Book of Rants. Quality: white, upgradable. Introduction. In a certain Eastern world during the Warring States period, there was a sage named Kong. He prioritized the well-being of people and used virtue to persuade them. He was 2.2 meters tall, able to split a city gate with one hand. He had 3,000 disciples, and successfully convinced the rulers of 7 states through relentless beatings to implement his teachings. The Book of Rants was the rules Kong established for the people in the Tao at that time. Note, if you collect all the torn pages, it can evolve into a rare red-tier martial art. The Book of Sayings. Evaluation. Evan Zhao, your purity level is still too low. During the Warring States period, there was a sage called Kong. He prioritized the well-being of people and used virtue to persuade them. He was 2.2 meters tall and able to split a city gate with one hand. He had 3,000 disciples under his gate and traveled to persuade the rulers of 7 states. Through relentless beating, he successfully convinced the 7 rulers to adopt his teachings. The Book of Rants was the rules set by Kong for the people of the time. After reading the introduction of the technique, Evan Zhao became interested and clicked to purchase. This damaged book cost him 5,000 points. At this moment, the map of Suspended Valley Town has also been updated. He then opened World Quest to take a look and wanted to find some clues about the butcher's daughter at the same time. World Quest is a job search platform that recommends positions for levels 5 to 10 with any number of recommendations. Quest rewards are based on the job position. Introduction. You have repaired the abandoned train station and successfully driven the train to Suspended Valley Town. However, as you delve deeper into Suspended Valley Town, you realize that it is filled with crises with vengeful ghosts running rampant. In order to survive, you have to try to integrate with these vengeful ghosts. After some kind ghosts introduce you, you learn that you must have a stable job in Suspended Valley Town in order to survive. Alrighty, it requires level 5, and it's not something Evan Zhao can do by himself. Evan Zhao decides to put it aside for now. According to the quest description, Suspended Valley Town is full of vengeful ghosts. Finding a job there is definitely not going to be an easy task. Although his power far exceeds that of many other players at the same level, it is obvious that he is not yet at a point where he can directly confront and surpass many ghosts of higher levels. Next, Evan Zhao enjoyed a period of quiet and relaxed days. With Rachel Liu's reminder, Jia Bang also didn't dare to openly trouble him in the guild headquarters. During these days, Evan Zhao would often gather with White Fan, Sugar Tian, and a few others to play tabletop games when he had nothing else to do, and things went quite smoothly. Until the beginning of the month arrived, Evan Zhao directly opened the system to match a new game dungeon. Game dungeon, in matching process, matched successfully. Dungeon, Wilderness Seek Death. Participating players. Evan Zhao level 3 Ing Xiangying level 5 Ning, Xiao level 7 Ding Longfei level 4 Ji Tung level 3 Ran Xinping level 9 Wei Yin level 8 Jinan Quanren level 9. Main Quest. Survive in Lubac Mountains for 15 days. Sub-Quest, Unknown. Main Quest Reward, 150 XP. Sub-Quest Reward, Fate Chest, Blue, Inferno Difficulty. Introduction. You and your group are invited to participate in the Extreme Survival Show, Wilderness Challenge, hosted by Master Beck and Master Derry in the most dangerous Lubac Mountains. You will live together for 15 days, promising to help each other and face the challenges side by side, with the strongest human determination to overcome nature. This dungeon will seal the player's inventory, rendering all items unusable until the end of the dungeon. Player strength will be decreased by 50% until the dungeon concludes. Intense pain came from his head area. Evan Zhao had not opened his eyes yet, but faintly heard 2 rather explosive sounds. The usual rule, 1 person brings 4 back. This time's program is hosted by me, and I also found the sponsor. Is it a bit unfair that you still want to split the proceeds with me 50-50? Fair. Derry, if it weren't for me using my connections to find them. Do you think with your ability alone, you can bring 8 kids to Lubac Mountains to shoot a show? Damn it. Let's do it this way. But Beck, you are in charge of the weather reconnaissance. If anything goes wrong with the show this time, I won't let you off the hook. Evan Zhao slowly sat up. His gaze fell on the muscular man, sitting shirtless by the campfire. The man noticed someone looking at him. He turned to look at him, revealing a strange smile. "Are you awake?" Derry, neutral trigger, no weaknesses, formerly served as a Special Forces soldier and later retired to start a wilderness survival show. Because he is good at enduring hunger, the audience jokingly calls him Starving Barry. Evan Zhao nodded, rubbing his dazed head. "Have we arrived at the Lubak Mountains now?" Derry smiled and replied, "Yes, Evan Zhao, take a look around you. Isn't it incredibly beautiful? I've wandered and survived in many places. Every time I arrive somewhere, I can't help but think that this must be the most beautiful place." Master Derry also has another nickname, which is Slick-Tongue Derry. Because when he is in a favorable situation, he will start to fervently articulate his thoughts, speaking to the camera, speaking to himself, speaking to fire, speaking to food. Evan Zhao quickly interrupted him when he started talking non-stop, asking where Beck had gone. Derry pointed to the back and said that he had gone there to get the camera equipment. Sometimes live streaming equipment and network connections can be interrupted by weather conditions, making it inconvenient to stay connected. So we generally use recording equipment to document our efforts with the guests, relying on our willpower to conquer the process of nature together. You take a rest first. When Beck comes back and the other guests wake up, we'll start filming the show." Evan Zhao glanced at the sky in the distance and nodded. Half an hour later, Master Beck rushed up the mountain from the dense forest on the mountainside. He was carrying a lot of equipment, most of which were recording and camera instruments. At a glance, it weighed around 100 pounds, but it didn't affect Master Beck's speed in the slightest. Evan Zhao squinted at him. This kind of speed in climbing the mountain is interesting. Obviously, Beck's physical condition far exceeds that of normal humans, even surpassing the Royal Special Forces king. They absolutely couldn't possibly carry dozens or hundreds of pounds of heavy things on the mountain path at such a fast speed. It looks like this wilderness operation will be very interesting. The survival game of seeking death in the wilderness has finally begun. 8 people need to survive for 15 days under the guidance of Master Beck and Master Derry. What appears to be a simple game is actually extremely dangerous. Beck's constitution is different from ordinary people. He can walk briskly even when carrying 100 or so pounds on his back. Derry is the same. Despite the below-freezing temperature, he wears only a pair of shorts. Other unconscious players are gradually waking up. This time, the dungeon is full of experts. New player, rank 1, rank 8, and rank 14 are all present. The game dungeon's difficulty levels are normal, nightmare, the inferno, purgatory, torment, despair, and hopeless. The new dungeon is opened, and the players are completely immersed. Among this group of players, there are hardly any newcomers. Perhaps it's also because of this reason that they ended up being matched with purgatory-level dungeons. Beck fumbled in the backpack for a long time. Then he took out the camera and handed it to Derry. He then handed him a battery, but Derry noticed that one battery was missing and felt somewhat dissatisfied. Why is there one less battery? What if the battery runs out of power later? Beck replied, "It's because we're tight on budget. Besides, when have you ever used up a battery? Just make do with it for now." Derry reluctantly nodded and said, "Okay, I'll be careful with usage. It shouldn't be a problem." He then turned around and addressed the players. "Welcome, everyone, to the show Wilderness Seeking Death. There's no need for further introductions. For the next 15 days, you will be divided into 2 groups of 4 to follow either me or Beck into different areas to complete challenges and return to human society. But before that, we will give you 10 minutes to freely negotiate and the right to choose who to follow to participate in the challenge. If one party has too many people, randomly select the excess number of people to go to another group. Now please start your discussion. Please make it quick as possible. It's getting dark. In this mountain range, there are not only fierce unknown wild beasts, but also terrifying poisonous insects." After a brief introduction by everyone, The groups were quickly formed in just a few minutes. Among the 8 people, 6 of them all wished to follow Beck. Only 2 people are willing to join Derry. The reason is simple. Beck has excellent equipment, including a military knife. The 2 individuals who chose Derry are Evan Zhao and Wei Yun. After a simple game of rock, paper, scissors, 2 more people have been randomly chosen to join Derry here. Soon after, the 2 groups split up and began searching for a campsite for the night. Derry's group of 5 slowly made their way through the intricate mountain forest. Their pace was not fast, as they were constantly cautious and on the lookout for potential poisonous substances along the way. A colorful spider suddenly landed on Ying Xiangying's shoulder. Those fangs, reflecting the setting sun, seemed to be faintly emitting a cold light, making one's scalp tingle. Luckily, Derry was quick-witted and managed to grab the pouncing spider barehanded in the nick of time. He then stuffed it into his mouth and chewed on it, gobbling it up into his stomach with satisfaction. It seems that he is not only cold-resistant, but also toxin-resistant. After eating, Derry wiped his mouth and looked at the others more cautiously. This reality show did not bring any medicine, food, or water. If bitten by a venomous insect, it could very likely mean death. It will be dark soon. We need to quickly find a cave, clean up a safe place, and start a fire. Otherwise, tonight may be very difficult to get through. Ding Longfei asked Derry in a rough voice. I see that the trees around here are very tall, and some of them have vines growing on them. Why don't we just directly clear the toxins off a tree tonight and sleep in it? Derry shook his head and patiently explained. Mr. Ding, if it were a normal situation, your method would be completely feasible. But not now. Judging from the weather and humidity, it is most likely to rain tonight, and there will be heavy rain in the next few days. The rainwater in this mountain range will not freeze at extremely low temperatures. The temperature will drop to -10 degrees at night. Once we get wet in such cold temperatures, we will quickly die from hypothermia. Wei Yun asked after listening. What about food and drinking water? Derry flashed his big white teeth and chuckled. Don't worry. As long as we have a place to settle down safely tonight, getting protein and carbohydrates is an easy task. Evan Zhao listened quietly to their conversation, his eyes scanning the surroundings as he began to observe the terrain. Soon, they found a pile of fresh bear feces in the weeds by the path. Evan Zhao's eyes shifted slightly as he looked at the lead, Derry, who was a wilderness survival expert with a much stronger physique than him. Since he could see the pile of bear feces, it was impossible for Derry not to have noticed it. He completely ignored such fresh bear feces, which indicates that an adult bear poses no threat to Derry at all. Evan Zhao suddenly became interested upon realizing that with such a powerful expert by his side, the game was still judged to be a purgatory-level difficulty. Interesting. Does this mean he is not on our side? The deadly game of purgatory has begun. Under Derry's leadership, everyone quickly found a small cave leaning against the mountainside. Inside, the space was relatively open, and venomous creatures seemed to dislike this overly flat ground. Inside the cave, there were no venomous snakes or other fierce creatures. Excited, Derry led everyone in taking photos and preparing to start a fire. It hasn't rained yet, so we should quickly find some dry firewood and then start a fire. With fire, we can not only sleep well tonight, but also have cooked food tomorrow. Upon hearing this, everyone took action and went out separately to look for dry firewood. When Evan Zhao picked up the firewood, he intentionally looked for traces left by bears. Soon, he determined a direction. And he found new feces ahead. He carefully noted down these clues. Then he carried dry firewood back to the cave. Nightfall came, flames rose, warmth dispelling the chill. The people sitting around the fire felt an especially warm and cozy atmosphere. A muffled thunder sounded, and sure enough, the drizzling rain could be heard outside the cave. The humidity, accompanied by the cold, seeped into the cave, causing everyone to shiver involuntarily. Their clothing varied. For example, Evan Zhao was wearing thicker clothes, so he felt warm. On the other hand, Wei Yun had fewer layers, and the stockings on her legs were super thin, providing little warmth. She was now shivering by the fire. The fire crackled, and Derry suddenly began to breathe heavily and sweat profusely. Upon seeing this, Evan Zhao frowned and asked what was wrong. Derry replied, "It's nothing. It might be the spider I ate during the day was a bit venomous. I just need to rest, and I'll be fine after a nap." Let's reconsider food and water in the morning. The rainwater contains special impurities, which, although not corrosive, are not suitable for drinking. For the sake of tomorrow's quest, everyone should rest well. With that, he laid down on the side and fell asleep. Evan Zhao looked at his expression, which was very subtle. Generally speaking, the toxins of spiders and poisonous snakes only take effect when they enter the bloodstream. Ingesting them is not a big problem. But now it seems that the poisonous spiders in the Lubak Mountains, as well as some other insects, are not edible. Even someone with extraordinary physical qualities, like Derry, wouldn't be able to handle it. If they eat them, they will probably stink to death soon. Everyone has also started to find a place to rest. 2 hours later, the sleeping Evan Zhao suddenly opened his eyes. He sat up and glanced at several people. Then he picked up a burning stick quietly and headed towards the cave entrance. Just as he moved, Wei Yun also opened his eyes. Then she secretly followed behind Evan Zhao. It's very cold outside. It's not yet midnight, but the temperature has dropped below zero. The rain is slight, not wetting the clothes. By the dim starlight, she could barely make out the surrounding scenery. Following behind, Wei Yun suddenly realized that he had lost track of Evan Zhao. Before she could regain her composure, a surgical knife was already pressed against her neck. Although the player's items were disabled, the soul-bound weapon can still be used. "Are you tracking me, Evan Zhao?" he questioned with a smile. Under the moonlight, his smile seemed as daunting as a fierce ghost. Sweat beads dripped from Wei Yun's forehead. She had heard not long ago that Evan Zhao was ruthless. If he had any intent to kill, he would not hesitate. "I did not follow you. I came out to take a dump." She was in a hurry to excrete, and wanted to dispel Evan Zhao's suspicions. Upon hearing this, Evan Zhao put down the surgical knife. Wei Yun took a deep breath while covering his chest. But the next sentence from Evan Zhao caught her off guard directly. "To pull the clothes off and shit right here. If you can't shit, I'll send you to die." Wei Yun blushed at the words and took a while to confess. "Boss Zhao, don't hit me. I admit that I followed you out, but it's not because I have inappropriate intentions towards you. It's just, I was too cold and wanted to ask you for a piece of clothing to wear." At this moment, she, an 8th level player, actually called a 3rd level new player Big Brother, and was watched by tens of thousands of viewers in the live stream room. It's really embarrassing. Evan Zhao heard this, and put away the surgical knife with a slight smile. "If you wanted clothes, you should have said so earlier." "Really?" Wei Yun finally relaxed when he saw the situation. Although the new player list one was rumored to be somewhat scary, it feels quite approachable. But then Evan Zhao's words left her stunned on the spot. 3,000 points for one item. Wei Yun completely collapsed. What the hell? Selling a piece of old clothing for 3,000 points. Why don't you just go rob someone? A piece of old clothing is actually being sold at the astronomical price of 3,000 points. Upon hearing the number spoken by Evan Zhao, Wei Yun felt as if thousands of horses were galloping in his heart. "Why aren't you going to rob them?" Evan Zhao responded confidently. "Aren't I robbing them right now?" Wei Yun looked at his face, gnashing his teeth in anger, really wanting to jump up and punch him in the knee. "Evan Zhao, I'm telling you, I'm Wei Yun. I'd rather freeze to death and jump down from the mountain. I will never spend 3,000 points to buy your broken clothes." Just as the words were spoken, a cold wind came from the north, passing through the mountains, cutting through the trees like a sharp sword, piercing through both of them, chilling them to the core. After a few seconds of silence, Wei Yun, with tears in her eyes and a runny nose, trembling, started to operate. 3,000 points were not a small amount for her. But if she didn't have this piece of clothing, she estimated that she wouldn't survive this dungeon. Her losses would be even greater by then. Ding! You have received 3,000 game points. Currently, your total points are 6,000. Evan Zhao nodded in satisfaction. I spent 5,000 points to buy the Book of Sayings with missing pages. Now, selling a damaged piece of clothing for 3,000 points earns back 60% instantly, making a huge profit. At that moment, he deeply experienced the joy of being a capitalist. Then, he quickly took off his coat in 3 swift movements. Then he handed the fuzzy shirt he was wearing in the middle to Wei Yun, whose hands were almost frozen solid. Wei Yun was dumbfounded. Isn't it the coat on the outside? Evan Zhao glanced at his coat and chuckled. Oh, you meant this one. This one is worth 100,000 points. Upon hearing this, Wei Yun trembled with anger. The night was cold, and Evan Zhao's laughter was cruel. After sending away Wei Yun, he followed the clues from the day and searched all the way, hoping to find a bear. Evan Zhao doesn't think they will have a chance to go out and search for food after tonight, unlike Derry's thoughts. If the rain intensifies and doesn't stop, then even during the day, the temperature will have difficulty rising. In the next 14 days, the temperature will only get lower day by day. And all the wood, dampened by the rain, becomes unable to burn. They lose the fire on which their lives depended. With just the clothes on his back, he couldn't possibly survive for more than 15 days. What's more, there will be another even more dreadful danger waiting for them by then. Tonight is the most easily overlooked rhythm. Whether they can seize the initiative in the next 14 days depends entirely on tonight. He followed the traces along the path all the way. Evan Zhao's eyes showed a hint of red light shimmering, and at this moment, all the information of every plant and tree in this area appeared in his eyes. He quickly found the bear. In order not to leave any traces on his clothes, he took off his clothes and fought the bear naked. When the sharp surgical knife cut off its central nervous system, the brown bear found that it could no longer move, its consciousness gradually dissipating in the growing curtain of rain. After a life-and-death struggle, Evan Zhao, covered in wounds, finally brought down the bear. The marauder's skill of surgical knife is triggered afterwards. Black tentacles attached to its wounds, continuously devouring the HP power from his body. Then it continuously transferred to Evan Zhao, who slowly closed his eyes and raised both hands. He felt the power of HP surging through his limbs and body, unable to help but let out a satisfied groan. A pale but handsome face appeared with a sickly smile. Ding! After a life-and-death struggle, your robust field triggered, enhancing your physical fitness with a strength increase of +1. This is the effect of the robust field. Evan Zhao can enhance his strength through battles. Even in a weakened state, he now has a strength value as high as 18. Evan Zhao wiped the blood off his body and put on his clothes. He dragged the body of a brown bear and headed in a certain direction. During the day, he followed behind Derry and intentionally noted the terrain and directions of all nearby locations. This is a very difficult task for ordinary players, but for Evan Zhao, it is a simple matter. He finally found a small cave after stumbling along the way. He collected some dry firewood that hadn't been completely soaked by the rain and piled it up here. After setting up all the firewood, he sat for half an hour. He didn't cut the bear meat until the rain outside got heavier, and then he placed it on the fire to roast. The oil slowly dripped from the meat, making a sizzling sound as it fell. It looked delicious. The muddy smell splashed up by the rain and the fresh fragrance emitted by plants will quickly mask the aroma of this barbecue. Derry's constitution has clearly been greatly enhanced by the dungeon. Evan Zhao doesn't want his food to be sniffed out by this guy's keen sense of smell. After eating his fill, he still has to drink some water. He glanced at the rainwater outside, which is toxic and not drinkable. If you can boil it in a container and then filter it through charcoal bits, you can drink it in moderation. Do not drink more than a liter within 24 hours, or some unknown metallic substances inside will gradually accumulate, leading to kidney failure. The man not only skewered the fierce bear for barbecue, but also took off his smelly socks to filter rainwater for drinking. After eating his fill, Evan Zhao casually picked up a stone. He then took out his unyielding surgical knife. He quickly carved the stone into 2 small stone bowls in the blink of an eye. Seeing this scene, the onlookers were all stunned. "I can't believe this is happening! Truly a soul-bound weapon!" they exclaimed. Evan Zhao scooped some rainwater into a stone bowl. He placed it beside the fire to dry. Seeing him take off his shoes, the crowd was puzzled. "Why is he taking off his socks too? Does he want to dry them as well?" Just as they were speculating, Evan Zhao made a stunning move. He used his socks filled with charcoal shavings to create a simple filter. He supplemented with several hundred milliliters of slightly toxic rainwater. Evan Zhao finally realized that he should wash his feet. Next, he tore off a corner of his clothes. Started to grab the toxins hidden in the cracks of the stones. Whether it's the dark red centipede, or the purple-shelled poisonous scorpion, or the colorful wolf spider, stabbed them all with a scalpel. And then put them all into that piece of cloth, and carefully tucked them into his arms. After finishing these tasks, Evan Zhao extinguished the firewood, braved the rain back to the big cave from the small cave. Inside the big cave, everyone was sleeping soundly, with the fire still burning. Evan Zhao came to the fire pit and dried the water on his clothes. Then he closed his eyes and rested for 2 hours. He felt 2 soft things rubbing against him. He opened his eyes and saw that Wei Yun had leaned over. "Where did you go, Wei Yun?" he asked in a low voice, with a flicker in his eyes. Evan Zhao calmly replied, "Went to take a dump." "Did you take a 6-hour dump?" Upon hearing her words, Evan Zhao corrected, "It was 5 hours and 7 minutes. Wei Yun was a bit speechless. "Do you know if that's right?" She is a smart woman who knows that the top-ranked new player in the leaderboard is actually not among their group, but the 3 lower-ranked new players are the big shots. Players who can make it to the top of the leaderboard out of millions must be tough characters. Evan Zhao completely ignored her. Wei Yun's eyes shifted, and she whispered, "I bought information about you with points." Evan Zhao then made a hand gesture indicating 500 points for 1 piece of information. She then listened and pulled down the zipper on her own clothes, then slightly squeezed her chest with a hint of shyness. "Can it be cheaper or paid in other ways?" Evan Zhao took a serious look at the answer. "No, if you don't want it, I'll go to sleep." The charm failed, and Wei Yun was stunned on the spot. "Damn it, you don't even appreciate such a beautiful valley like mine." After hesitating for a moment, she gritted her teeth and agreed to the other party's conditions. "Give me 3 pieces of information. Provide me with useful content, and do not trick me into earning points." "Congratulations. You have earned 1,500 points. Your current account balance is 7,500 points." After hearing the alert, Evan Zhao vigilantly scanned the other people inside the cave. Then he lowered his head and whispered in her ear, "First of all edible animals in the mountains have been continuously moving away from our area tonight. Secondly, heavy rain is likely to continue until the end of the dungeon, with temperatures constantly dropping. After being soaked by heavy rain for hours, the firewood outside will become unable to burn. Thirdly, the most terrifying danger may be right beside us." Upon hearing Evan Zhao's words, Wei Yun's face instantly turned extremely pale. The 6th sense of a woman made her unable to resist casting her gaze toward the other people inside the cave. "Besides me and Evan Zhao, there are only 3 other people left here. Which one of them did Evan Zhao say was dangerous?" This dungeon, which appears to have no ghosts, can bring immense despair to people. According to Evan Zhao, the temperature will continue to drop, and the firewood they have stored can only last for a maximum of 3 days. Once the fire is gone, it only takes a few short hours for the cold to take their lives. Wei Yun held jumbled thoughts, and did not sleep deeply. Whenever there was any movement, she would wake up. The next day arrived quickly. Everyone looked at the trees outside the cave, soaked in rain all night, and their hearts sank to the bottom of the valley. Ing Xiangying and Ding Longfei have already started to regret why they didn't bring more firewood last night. It is very cold outside, and it is raining heavily. They simply cannot survive outside for too long. Even if they managed to come back alive hugging firewood from outside, they would probably get sick, but they don't have medicine. Falling ill would surely be the end for them. Derry opened the camera and stood at the entrance of the cave, starting to film, just as you can see. On the second day of entering the Lubak Mountains, we encountered an unsolvable problem: the weather. Damn, Beck always seems so unreliable. After a night of rest, Derry's high fever has improved slightly, and his body temperature is gradually returning to normal. But from some minor muscle twitches, it seems that the spider venom in his body has not been completely neutralized yet. The toxins in this mountain range are more potent than Evan Zhao expected, or perhaps Derry's toxicity resistance is not high enough. Evan Zhao took out a stone bowl and collected some rainwater outside. Derry, who was tinkering with the camera, hurriedly stepped forward to stop Evan Zhao. "The rainwater outside is not drinkable." Evan Zhao smiled and replied, "It's okay, don't worry, Derry. I already drank some last night." As long as we boil the rainwater and then use charcoal to absorb most of the sediment. This water can then be used for drinking in moderation. Although I didn't feel very comfortable after drinking it last night, I have already recovered this morning. As you can see, I have no problems now. Everyone saw him like this and also relaxed. Derry, although his expression was slightly odd, no longer stopped the water from boiling. We can also add some herbs in. Drinking it is very beneficial for the body, and can neutralize the toxicity of certain substances in the water. I learned about this kind of herb when I studied medicine before. Teacher told me about its effectiveness. Evan Zhao started his nonsense and randomly plucked some grass from the cave entrance. These grasses are non-toxic, but they are not medicinal herbs. Evan Zhao's real intention is to soak them in water. It is to mask a certain special smell. The juice from crushing wild grasses has a strong odor. In general, most people would not be willing to drink this. But now they have no choice. Later, Evan Zhao quickly filtered out a bowl of herbal water. Then he first handed the water to Wei Yun, who hesitated to drink from the bowl at first. However, Evan Zhao's subtle expression made her muster up the courage to take a big sip. Ding Longfei saw that she was fine and followed suit by taking a sip as well. Next were Ing Xiangying and Evan Zhao. At the moment when everyone's attention was focused on the water, Evan Zhao naturally reached into his pocket and firmly grasped the cloth pouch containing the poison. Leaves and branches seeped out from one side of the cloth pouch and stuck to his fingers. Then he quietly immersed his fingers in the bowl for a few seconds. The last one is Derry. He didn't say much and went straight for a drink in one gulp. After finishing the water, Derry continued to grumble in front of his own camera. I learned an ancient Chinese saying in the East. Heaven has unpredictable fortunes and misfortunes, and a person's blessings and calamities change from day to day. This saying means that the weather in the sky changes unpredictably, just as one cannot predict the blessings and misfortunes in life. Perhaps you just casually took a sip of water, and then something happened. Oh wait, why do I feel a bit dizzy? Derry's eyes revealed a hint of confusion. Immediately, he staggered a few steps before his eyes rolled back, and he collapsed to the ground. Ing Xiangying quickly called out loudly, and even slapped Derry several times, but the latter still didn't wake up. And at this moment, Derry's data changed somewhat in Evan Zhao's eyes. Derry, mild danger weakness, low poison resistance notes. Although he is poisoned, the poison is not deep. Even if his consciousness is fuzzy, his instincts as a wild beast have not yet fallen asleep. If you attempt to kill him at this time, you will die miserably. Note 2, he is a bit hungry. A strong and robust wilderness expert. I didn't expect he turned out to be an extremely twisted man-eating demon. Evan Zhao took the opportunity to feed the poison into Derry's mouth. Everyone saw him fall to the ground and hurried to help him up. But Derry lay on the ground without moving, his lips turning blue. Evan Zhao touched his chin and glanced at the opponent's data. Interesting. The system gave Derry animal instincts for the purpose of preventing him from falling into a coma after mistakenly eating poison and then being attacked by players, thus greatly reducing the difficulty of the purgatory challenge. But obviously, Evan Zhao would not do such a foolish thing as killing Derry, right? No, only foolish and cruel people would do such a silly thing. Evan Zhao is a kind and smart little trickster. He wouldn't kill Derry. Keeping him alive could still be very useful. Ing Xiangying shivered all over, not sure if it was due to the cold. He muttered while staring at the fire. Derry is so strong, how could he fall ill? Could it be because of the water we just drank? But we all drank from that bowl of water. Ding Longfei, who had been silent all along, suddenly looked at Evan Zhao and casually said, Did you poison it? He was the 14th ranked player on the leaderboard, with exceptionally sharp thinking. After ruling out options quickly, he immediately focused on Evan Zhao. Evan Zhao looked up with an innocent expression and said, Don't say things like that. I didn't do it, I swear. The expression on his face almost spelled out, I am the murderer. Ding Longfei furrowed his brow. Seeing the other party not admitting, he didn't say anything either. As the night approached, cold and hunger tormented them. Except for Evan Zhao, the other three people all looked terrible. The slowly decreasing firewood in the cave mirrored their dwindling patience. Derry's lips were blue and purple, barely regaining some consciousness, groaning for water. Evan Zhao looked at him waking up, then, very concerned, carried the water to Derry's side. Don't worry, drink slowly. Rest assured, we will take care of you until you recover. Derry drank a bowl of cold-boiled water, weakly thanked Evan Zhao and the other two. The bluish-purple color on his lips seemed to have become a bit more vibrant. Then he rolled his eyes and passed out again. Evan Zhao glanced at Derry's only backpack. He rummaged through it and found only a camera and a spare battery. The camera is multifunctional, with a small operating screen on top that allows you to view the recordings made by the camera. The stored recordings are scattered, with most of them showing Derry with former guests on adventures in different extreme environments. One particular special memory recording caught Evan Zhao's attention. It starts with Derry's hearty laughter and the guests' cries of surprise. It seems like they are playing some sort of cat-and-mouse game. These sounds attract three other teammates, who sense that something is amiss. Several people gathered around Evan Zhao, watching the video seriously. Ing Xiangying sighed with a frown. How lucky they are to still have the mood to play games. Why is it our turn? Before he could finish his complaint, his eyes suddenly widened as if he had seen an incredible scene. On the screen recording, Derry, who was supposed to be playing games with the guests. After catching up to a female guest, he actually used his hands to grab her head and crushed it on the spot. At the moment when her head exploded, red and white sprayed everywhere, creating a gruesome scene that made Ing Xiangying and Wei Yun shudder all over in fright. On the screen, Derry was facing the camera, his neck twisted at a strange angle, with a sinister grin on his face. He picked up the brain matter from the ground and crazily stuffed it into his mouth. This terrifying scene not only scared Evan Zhao and the three people beside him, but also shocked tens of thousands of viewers in the live broadcast room. Ing Xiangying sat paralyzed on the ground, trembling in fear. At this moment, Derry, who was lying on the ground, suddenly flipped over. Ing Xiangying's hair stood on end, and she quickly stood up in a panic. He left the cave without looking back, even if it was freezing outside, even if he froze to death. Anything was better than being eaten. Wei Yun instinctively wanted to run out with him. She was pulled back by the quick-eyed Ding Longfei. Don't go out. Most likely you will die if you go out now. Wei Yun stared at the unconscious Derry on the ground and swallowed hard. It wasn't until this moment that she understood the meaning of the sentence Evan Zhao had told her. The most horrifying danger was actually right beside them. I didn't expect that the seemingly friendly companions around us. He turned out to be an extremely perverted man-eating demon. Now Wei Yun gets scared whenever she sees Derry unconscious and unresponsive. Ding Longfei comforted. Don't worry, Evan Zhao is going to pursuing Xiangying. The poison in Derry was placed by him. He should have calculated the dosage properly, so Derry won't wake up at this time. Wei Yun was a bit puzzled. When did he poison Ding Longfei? Ding Longfei fell silent for a moment, a flash of reverence and caution in his eyes. It's water. Although I don't know how he did it, obviously water is the only thing he and Derry had indirect contact with. I guess he might have poisoned the water after drinking it himself, then passed the poisoned water to Derry. If he had any evil intentions just now and changed the order of drinking water, we would all be dead. Wei Yun frowned and asked, Why didn't Evan Zhao kill us? It can't be because he's kind, right? Ding Longfei smiled bitterly and replied, I don't know. Before coming here, I thought I was ranked 14th on the new player list, and there shouldn't be much difference between me and Evan Zhao. Now it seems like I'm just a confused idiot. Wei Yun picked up a stone and held it in the palm of his hand. Then she cautiously approached the unconscious Derry, hoping to take advantage of the situation to deal with this man-eating demon. But at this moment, Ding Longfei stopped her. You'd better not do this, he said. If it were that simple to kill him, Evan Zhao would have done it a long time ago. Wei Yun immediately realized that there might be a problem here. What you said makes sense. Let's wait for Evan Zhao to come back before we discuss further. 6 hours passed until Evan Zhao, with a dripping wet figure, emerged from the cave. He was holding some freshly cut meat, looking lively with rosy cheeks. Wei Yun and the others looked at him in confusion. They asked Evan Zhao, Did you go out to chase after Ing Xiangying last night? Where is he? After hearing that, Evan Zhao pointed to the skewered meat on the stick and grinned. The two of them were horrified, their hair standing on end. You killed him, and then skewered his meat? Evan Zhao shook his head. No, I just found the body. Last night, he ran, and I chased after him. It didn't take long before he couldn't run anymore. Then I took drugs with him, and waited for him to freeze to death. Wei Yun's voice trembled as she pointed at the skewers. You're not really going to eat that, are you? Evan Zhao smiled faintly. What are you thinking? I never eat human flesh. What's the difference between that and eating feces? Wei Yun stood still on the spot upon hearing this. You make a good point. I'm speechless. Then what is this meat? Evan Zhao nodded, pointing at the unconscious Derry. This is Ing Xiangying's tenderloin. I removed all his meat from the bones last night. The kid still has a lot of meat on him. This meat isn't for me to eat, it's for Derry to eat. Are you crazy? We need to find a way to kill this man-eating demon instead of feeding it. Evan Zhao rubbed his chin and gazed at the unconscious Derry, as if assessing his own cute pet. He thought, He's so adorable. It would be such a pity to kill him. Ding Longfei beside him gradually started sweating. He couldn't help but wonder what kind of fiend he had encountered. With your observational skills, it's impossible not to see how powerful Derry and Beck are. Even if our strength has been reduced by 50% now, we wouldn't stand a chance against these two guys at our full strength. Aren't you afraid that they will kill us? Evan Zhao, who was grilling meat, turned his head and shook it playfully as he answered, He won't kill me. He will only kill you guys. Evan Zhao suddenly paused here, and a strange smile appeared on his face. However, if you want to kill Derry, I won't object. Just go ahead and do it. Seeing this smile from him, Ding Longfei and Wei Yun became even more certain that terrible things would happen if they assassinated Derry. Not long after he fell silent, Evan Zhao took out a small cloth bag. He spread some strange sauce on the barbecue. Fishy and malodorous sauce. Then he waved the meat under Derry's nose. The latter was suddenly stimulated and woke up. Seeing the meat, a hint of frenzy appeared in Derry's eyes. He grabbed the skewer of meat and shoved it into his mouth, but soon he realized something was wrong and stopped his hand mid-action. Wait! Where did you guys get this meat from? The truth about seeking death in the wilderness is finally revealed. This turned out to be a hunting game between the man-eating demon and the players. Evan Zhao, who guessed everything, fed the poisoned skewer to Derry. Although hungry, Derry cautiously asked where it came from. The two people behind were somewhat at a loss after hearing this. Evan Zhao's complexion was very poor at this time, and he replied to Derry with lingering fear. You do not know. Terrifying things happened after you left. Apart from us on the mountain, there is another person hidden in the darkness. He is approximately 1.8 meters tall, dressed in military fatigues, and carries a very sharp knife in his hand. This guy suddenly attacking Xiangying when he went out to the toilet. I followed the screams, but found that Xiangying was already cut in half. Derry suddenly got up angrily upon hearing this. Who the fuck else could it be if not Beck? Damn it! It was agreed that one person would bring 4 pieces of food. This bastard dared to steal people while he was sick. Unbearable. Seeing him exuding a terrible murderous aura, Evan Zhao quickly tried to persuade him. Derry, calm down first. You definitely can't beat him now that you are poisoned. Let's have some meat first. Although it's cruel to eat our own kind, if we don't eat anything, our bodies won't hold up when we encounter that person. Aren't we in great danger facing that guy? Under Evan Zhao's coaxing, Derry, filled with anger, picked up the skewer and shoved it into his mouth. At this moment, the two people behind suddenly understood why Evan Zhao didn't kill Derry. He wanted to use Derry to deal with Beck. What a sinister move. The audience in the live broadcast room also sighed. This method of sowing discord is truly impressive. There is big trouble ahead. Just came from Beck's players' live room, and they also discovered Beck's cannibal secret. The Wild Seeking Death show is actually a large-scale hunting game created by the wealthy. The invited guests are actually homeless people whose memories have been erased in the city. No wonder it's a purgatory-level dungeon. Players not only have to battle extreme weather, but also evade and resist Beck and Derry, 2 wilderness man-eating demons, who are skilled in reconnaissance and hunting. After several players from Team Beck learned about this insider information, they decided to strike first and attack the players on Derry's side, leading to infighting and self-destruction. Why? Shouldn't they be united? In times of food scarcity, unity is useless. Can unity fill their bellies? Understood, in the wilderness, seeking death seems like survival dungeon. The biggest difference between survival dungeon and hunting dungeon is that the former may not result in deaths, while the latter inevitably leads to death. After learning the truth of this dungeon, the audience in the live stream room already felt their heartbeats quicken and couldn't help but become nervous. Derry ate meat smeared with poison, and his eyes rolled back again. At this moment, Evan Zhao began whispering softly in his ear, saying many things to Derry. As he murmured, Derry's expression gradually calmed down, no longer looking as ferocious as before. After about half an hour, Derry completely entered dreamland. Only then did Evan Zhao get up and stretch, realizing that it's almost time. Next, I want to discuss a deal with you. This deal is related to your life. Upon hearing this, Wei Yun and Ding Longfei's expressions suddenly became more serious. What kind of deal? Evan Zhao sat by the bonfire and added some dry branches to it. Each person giving me 5,000 points counts as a ticket. I will lead you in the games that come afterward. Upon hearing that another transfer of 5,000 points was required, Wei Yun immediately couldn't hold back. This damn thing is like a bottomless pit. Are you addicted to cheating and exploiting others, damn it? On the other hand, Ding Longfei agreed after some thought, which infuriated Wei Yun. Are you so spineless, Ding Longfei? He chuckled and said, Well, you can disagree if you want. After a moment of silence, Wei Yun gritted his teeth and reluctantly agreed as well. Evan Zhao nodded in satisfaction when he saw the 10,000 points credited to his account. He immediately spoke up and shared his thoughts. Now we are all in the same boat. To be honest with you, the first danger we have to face next is not from Derry and Beck, but from the 4 players Beck brought. After hearing this, Wei Yun asked in confusion. Won't Beck attack us? Evan Zhao shook his head and explained. If Beck also attacks us, then the difficulty level of this dungeon will not be purgatory, but hopeless. On the side, Ding Longfei nodded in agreement, acknowledging, Indeed, no one can survive being hunted by these two wild man-eating demons, filled with various skills, in such extreme conditions for more than 10 days. Wei Yun continued to question. Then why would other players definitely ambush us? Evan Zhao began to explain slowly. In fact, from the beginning, the dungeon has given us a hint. Beck is well equipped, while Derry has nothing. This indicates that following Beck's team not only provides food and water, but also weapons. The real focus of the two is not the mutual unity of the guests in the jungle. Instead, it is our mutual killing, the process of moving from hope to despair. Wei Yun's complexion was complicated as she looked at the face illuminated by the campfire. Since that's the case, why did you still choose Derry? Evan Zhao played with the stick in his hand and sighed. Maybe it's because I'm too kind to hurt others. Wei Yun and Ding Longfei were speechless after hearing that. I can't believe I fell for your nonsense, they said. We don't have any food now, and the fire won't burn for long. Even if there is no external danger, we won't survive for long. Evan Zhao showed a brilliant smile after hearing this. I have food. Although I can't make you all full, we can easily last for 15 days. As for the fire, we can loot Beck's camp. The counterattack of seeking death in the wilderness begins. Both camps not only have to endure hunger and fight each other. They also have to guard against the attacks of the man-eating demon around them in order to survive till the end. Evan Zhao suggested the idea of going to the Beck camp to steal fire. Ding Longfei was a bit confused after listening and asked, Wouldn't Beck retaliate if we stole their fire? Evan Zhao gave a slight smile to reassure Ding Longfei. He had just asked Derry, and found out that Beck and Derry usually do not interfere with guests invited by the production team in the first 12 days. Wei Yun remembered how Evan Zhao was whispering to Derry just now. Why would he tell you these things? Evan Zhao rubbed his hands and answered meaningfully. Because I hypnotized him. This kind of poor psychological trick has no effect on most mentally strong people. But Derry is different. After being poisoned and falling into a coma for 2 consecutive days, his mental defense line has become quite fragile. Furthermore, I fed him food just now, basically emptying his guard against me. Tomorrow morning, I will bring back food and firewood. After that, I will teach you how to make some practical traps. After eating and drinking our fill, we will get ready to work. Evan Zhao finished speaking and left the cave to go outside. At the same time, not far away, there were 4 dark figures wearing raincoats groping in the darkness. They cautiously approached Derry's camp. There is another deeper shadow lurking in the distance, hiding behind a large rock, holding a camera and eagerly filming. This person is Beck. He deliberately left many flaws and weapons to guide these creatures to slaughter each other. The more brutal the killings, the better. A comrade asked in a low voice at this moment, how were the images from Quadran's reconnaissance aircraft? The island country's sand sculptor man stared at the display on his tablet, revealing a cruel smile. The person named Evan Zhao got separated. I don't know why he actually ran out of the cave. Very good. Kill one first, hide his corpse. When we come back, we can eat Beck. The food there is definitely not enough. As long as he and Derry haven't eaten and starved for more than 10 days, we should have a good chance of taking them down with the 4 of us. Ningwa follows Evan Zhao today. Cut off his head first. Is new player ranked first? I will sacrifice you today. Ningwa quickly started to act. Pouring rain, moving like a ghost, darting left and right. Ningwenxia's glasses were wet from the rain, but it didn't affect his vision at all. His eyes were as fierce as a wolf, locked onto the man running ahead in the rain. Poetic murderous intent bloomed a waltz of death in the endless black night. 30 steps. 20 steps. 10 steps. The distance is getting closer. Evan Zhao suddenly stopped, as if he had discovered something, turned around in confusion. Ningwa immediately activated the ability of the Shadow Cloak. This is a product of some sort of black technology. The wearer can trigger the skill effect of invisibility for 1 minute. During the invisibility process, all sounds and smells will be blocked, but the user will be in a petrified state and unable to move. Newanime sneered coldly. Didn't expect you to be quite vigilant. Too bad you've met your match.